said a while back that I'd do a review of Todd Phillips' Joker, and I figured that it kind of time's passed a bit too long now to do one, but a couple of people had handed me to say what my thoughts are on the whole thing. So I will. Joker is an origin story, as we know, of how Joker became Joker. Joaquin Phoenix plays Arthur Fleck, who's an aspiring comedian. He works at a place called Ha Ha's, where he dresses as a clown alongside other people and does corporate things, spinning signs or going to cheer up kids at the hospital. He is bullied at work and they all don't like him because he's strange and weird. He suffers from a condition where he laughs uncontrollably whenever he's in pain or in an uncomfortable situation, kind of like a tic or like a weird version of Tourette's, if you like.
Can you please stop bothering my kid?
I wasn't bothering him.
Just stop. What, you think that's funny?
He lives with his mum in an apartment, who he absolutely adores and loves dearly. He cares for her, baths her, cleans her, feeds her, everything. And it's funny because their relationship is almost reminiscent of Norman Bates and his mum in Psycho.
Do you go out with friends?
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
He goes to a social worker once a week in order to have a chat with them, and then he gets his medication. But from budget cuts or whatever it is through Gotham City, that place closes down. He can't take his meds anymore, and that's where the film really begins into this spiral of narcissism and sociopathy and themes of the downfall of society, with trash all over the streets because they haven't got the budget to have garbage collection men and all that kind of jazz.
Like all Wayne employees, past and present, they're family.
You hear that? I told you we're family.
Groundswell of anti-rich sentiment in the city. It's almost as if our less fortunate residents are taking the side of the killer.
Yes, and it's a shame. It's one of the reasons why I'm considering a run for mayor. Gotham has lost its way.
Zazie Beetz plays a neighbour who lives with her 4-year-old daughter. She's not in it that much, but she's very much a necessity to the plot. Plays it absolutely fine. Frances Conroy is Arthur's mum, is very good with the sort of ditzy, senile dementia, mentally ill person who idolises Murray Franklin, which is Robert De Niro's character. Robert De Niro's character, Murray Franklin, as the talk show host, is exactly like Rupert Pupkin if he was older, from the King of Comedy, Scorsese's King of Comedy. He's not in it a great deal, but again, it's detrimental to the plot.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rupert Pupkin. I was born in Clifton, New Jersey, which was not at that time a federal offense.
So everybody's heard about the super rats that are in Gotham now, right? Well, today, the mayor said he has a solution. You ready for this? Super cats.
Joaquin Phoenix, his performance in this is exceptional. He lost a ridiculous amount of weight for it, and there's a lot of this film that's been improvised. Apparently, on set, just one time, they forgot to turn the cameras off when they all went off set and left him there. And what ended up happening was he did this thing with the fridge. Now, when you see this, you just sort of go, well, that's not that amazing. But he just improvised it, and it kind of symbolises to me just how he was feeling up in his own head. And yeah, it was really cool. And the dancing down the stairs bit, that's all improvised as well. The more he spirals into this sociopathic sort of way and narcissism, the more he's just hating society and just realises how much of a cesspool Gotham City society's like. I guarantee that he's going to get an Oscar nomination for this. And if he does win, that means that the character portrayed, Joker, this comic book icon, would be a second-time winner. And that shows actually just how layered some of these comic book characters are and just how different they can play them. I said in another video, the Joker video, that each one that's played the Joker's switched the Rubik's Cube for himself. But for me, he's solved the puzzle. It's amazing, because I still will always say Jack Nicholson's my favourite. But I never told you that I actually think Joaquin Phoenix is way better than Heath Ledger. And I don't know whether or not that's because you're seeing the progression of Arthur Fleck into Joker, right? The other thing as well that I found interesting was that, you know, in superhero films, when they find their power out and they're kind of having a go with it, it takes all of what, 20, 30 minutes? This is like a 2.5 hour of how Joker got his superpowers and just basically came to terms of who he was, what he was about, and accepted what he was going to do. Now, there've been polarising opinions on the way people feel about this film. On the one side of the fence, you've got people that are sitting there saying that it's a wonderful piece of art that shows how mentally ill people are snubbed by society, and that mentally ill people are treated as outcasts.
Yes.
And then on the other side, you've got this, that they think that the film is poor and that this film could incite random acts of violence with the people in the film that were following him with the clown masks. Well, I kind of disagree with that.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
Because Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange, V for Vendetta, even things like Romper Stomper, there was never any incited random acts of violence. So I don't know if I agree with that, but I more agree with the first point. Todd Phillips himself has now come out of the comedic side of making films, famously the Hangover trilogy, and those films were anything but subtle, right? Todd Phillips doesn't seem to understand subtlety, and this is no different. It is absolutely not subtle. It punches you in the face. It's depressing. It's bleak. Do not watch it if you're in a bad mood. It's not, if you're expecting action-packed, crashy-bashy, bang, 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 you're in the wrong film here, Chief. You need to understand that this is a slow burner of watching someone just slowly go into this state of mind. But for me overall, I loved it. I really did like it. But I can understand why people don't like it or wouldn't like it. But for me, in a world with saturated superhero cinema, this is a fresh take on a comic book icon.